Why is Houston's budget so fucked? Spoiler alert, it isn't Mayor Turner's fault. Houston's deficit is decades old for a variety of reasons. There was an oil bust back in the early 80s, which was not helpful. In the 90s, we had to improve the pensions of our city employees, and that includes police officers and firefighters as well. In 2004, a conservative group called RevCap, which had people like Michael Berry, the conservative radio talk show host, and I think he was a city councilman at the time. Also, Steve Holtz's brother. If you can't remember Steve Holtz is the guy that during 2020, when the George Floyd protests were going on, he left Governor Abbott a voicemail telling him to shoot the protesters or run them down, whatever it was. So you can look him up. He's a lunatic. Period. The end. He's also the guy that hired the guy that held up the HVAC guy in 2020 over the election in Houston. So real stand-up guy, Steve Holtz, and his family's the same. They're a bunch of conservative loonies. Anyways, they were pushing a ballot measure for a revenue cap for property taxes for the city of Houston. The mayor at the time, who I believe was Bill White, proposed a less strict revenue cap, and luckily that's the one that we're under right now. So since 2004, we've been under a revenue cap, meaning the city cannot collect as much taxes as it should be able to. There was also the tech bubble bust around that time as well, so it was just fucked up, and we haven't been able to keep up with our financial obligations since then. So we've been underwater for decades. And Houston Fire Department, that whole pay parity thing, again, something that's been going on for a long time because originally their pay was attached to city revenue. And again, since we had the cap and we were unable to capture as much revenue, lots of things were put off to the side. Lots of things were kicked down, the can was kicked down the street. So we've been unable to maintain infrastructure, equipment, pay people properly. We were in court for flood mitigation. We weren't paying into flood mitigation agreements that we had made. So everything's just terrible. And then in 2019, the state put on a revenue cap for counties and cities, which is something that Harris County is now suffering from as well. So we went from 4.5 cap down to 3.5. So everything's even worse now. Now, couple all of that with all of our natural disasters, we're in a shit show. So unfortunately, it's nobody's fault. What I will say is that any politician that says that they're focused on reducing taxes and also cutting services is a red flag to me. That immediately lets me know that they have no idea what they're talking about, because as far as I'm concerned, what we need to be doing is increasing taxes. And when I say increase taxes, I feel like everybody is thinking that, we're saying to increase your taxes by like $3,000 a year. That's not what's going to happen. But we need to have a tax increase because everything's falling apart. We cannot continue to not maintain our infrastructure. And I'm talking like, in addition to roads, like the water meters, that whole thing, the whole water bill thing, that was because all the meters were end of life. And they were fucking up, which had we been able to properly and financially prepare for that, it wouldn't have been an issue, but it was, which again has caused all of this stuff to happen. And now we have to pay for the correction of all of that. Again, you have to get in front of stuff before it gets bad. And at this time, again, due to the revenue cap, we are unable to. We have been unable to for the past 20 years. Mind you, our population has grown 3 times in the past 4 decades. So we can't keep not funding things. And I haven't even mentioned the cost of living that's gone up and the cost of everything that's gone up. So it's a shit show and it's only going to get worse. And nobody should be voting for anybody in the city of Houston, Harris County, that is pushing off on taxes, because that's a fucking problem. It's only going to exacerbate our issues, especially in this current administration, where the federal funding that the state of Texas enjoyed as a surplus, a lot of that came from federal funding. So all of that federal funding that we get on a regular basis, we will not be getting because they're yanking everything. So y'all better keep funding the community because we're all about to be fucked.